What is up? It's the Champ, and with the release of Season 1 of Apex Legends, we're going to go over which weapons we should be using. I'm going to do this tier list a little bit different than most, and we're only going to do 3 categories. Alright, kit, replace, and trash. Guns in the kit category are the guns I consider to be the top tier in Apex, and if you see one, you should pick them up, and you should probably keep and run with them for the rest of the game. The guns in the service category are all really good guns, and you can definitely win games and get a lot of kills with them, but I don't think they're quite up to the quality of the guns in the kit category. And then you have the category which is complete trash, and you only pick that up if you have no other option, and the second you find something else, you just get rid of it. Leave it on the ground. It's virtually useless. Alright, let's jump into what I feel are the kit or the best weapons to use right now in Apex Legends. Let's start with my favorite gun right now, the R301. I love this thing so much because it's so versatile. You can use it up close, you can use it medium. If you have to use it at long range, you can use it in long range. It also has very minimal recoil, even without a barrel stabilizer. And to top it off, this thing for early game encounters has a really good iron sight. Second gun up on our kit list is the R99 submachine gun. This thing absolutely melts people at close range. You are going to sacrifice some medium and long range viability with this, but it's probably the best close range weapon in the game right now. Third gun on the list is the Spitfire, which is a heavy machine gun, and it's similar to the R99, and it's really versatile, and it's kind of good at all ranges. You can tap fire it for good damage at long range. It excels medium range, where you can just let full auto burst rip, and it can be hip fired close range with a pretty high accuracy, and be a really good weapon up close too. Spitfire excels if you're able to find a barrel stabilizer and an extended mag, as if you can cut that recoil down, and with a huge magazine, you can just full auto at multiple opponents one after the other, and if you're accurate enough, you can get multiple kills in a single magazine. Fourth gun in the kit list is the Wingman, and this thing is just a monster, and even though Respawn nerfed it a little bit, just the fact that there's no accuracy penalty to moving makes this thing OP, and it does devastating headshot damage. It's accurate at all ranges. It does good damage at all ranges, and this is one of the strongest guns in the game, period. Last up on the kit list is a personal favorite of mine, the Peacekeeper. And this thing is great because, one, it does a lot of burst damage up close, but two, just the mobility that you're able to have while you're firing it. I mean, this thing's pretty accurate during hip fire, so you're able to slide and bunny hop while putting strong damage at your enemies, and it makes it really hard for them to hit you in return. So, to me, this is one of the best close-range weapons in the game, and it's great for those situations where you've put a wingman shot or two on someone and you just push them with a lot of mobility to finish them off. Next up, we have the replace category. Now, most of these guns I like a lot, and I'll use them, but if I find a gun on the kit category, I will generally replace them with it. First up, we have the G9 Scout. Now, this isn't the sniper rifle category, but it's more of like a DMR or a battle rifle. Like, I don't really see any reason to ever put anything more than a 4X on this thing. And it's generally pretty accurate. It's good at all ranges, but it's got a little bit of that good at everything, great at nothing feel to it. And it's a good gun, and you can definitely win games and run with it. But I just think there's always going to be a better option for long range, there's going to be a better option for medium range, and there's going to be a better option for close range. Next up, we have the HEMLOCK, which to me kind of functions very similar to the G9 Scout, especially if you put it on single shot. Okay, this is more like a battle rifle to me in that it's pretty accurate over distance. All right, it's good at medium range. You can put it on burst for close. Generally, I feel like it suffers from the same problem as the Scout in that there's always a gun that's better for long, better for medium, or better for short. And it's a good gun, but, you know, I think there's always something you'd find that's a little bit better. Next up on the replaced list, we have the longbow, and I personally think the longbow is a great gun, but I just don't see where the viability is in the current meta of the game. Now, the longbow does great damage, and it's very accurate, but this is probably the closest thing to a true sniper rifle we have in the game outside of the Kraber, and generally there's very few sniper fights in this game. Alright, long distance engagements are pretty rare, and what happens a lot of times is you put a shot on someone and they just duck behind cover, put their shields up, and you're back at step 1. I myself will generally, if I have a longbow, just use it with either a red dot or a 2x and use it kind of as like a medium range battle rifle where I'll throw a shot on someone before I go chase them down with my R99 or my Peacekeeper. And I think the longbow also suffers right now in the fact that the wingman is so strong, and if we see more wingman nerfs, I think the longbow might kind of move up the tier list a little bit, but right now I don't really see what the reason to carry this, especially at endgame where circles are so small and engagements are so close. Next we got the EVA 8, which I'm never sad if I land early game on an EVA 8, as this thing is relatively accurate and does pretty good damage, but to me, it just pales in comparison to the Peacekeeper because you don't have the option to put that choke on it to use at a little bit of a longer range. And also, I feel like it just does a little bit less damage. While the bullet spread's a little bit more maybe consistent to throw out mediocre damage, I just feel like you don't get those devastating 100 damage hits with it like you do with the Peacekeeper. And if you're accurate, I think the Peacekeeper is just a better option, period. Next, we got the Prowler, and the Prowler is really good if you have it fully kitted, but the reason I don't have it in the kit category is because you don't want to be running around all game waiting to get a select fire receiver and an extended mag for it, because generally it's not really going to happen because not that many people that you kill are going to be running Prowlers. So unless you're looting buildings, you're not going to generally find the components that you need to make this weapon good. I think the only time you should put the Prowler in your kit is when you very early game get a select fire receiver that you're holding specifically for the Prowler, because the Prowler is not that rare of a drop, so it's worth holding the receiver if you're going to find a Prowler after. I don't think it's worth holding a Prowler to try to find a receiver, as the receivers are much more rare than the gun is. Last gun in the serviceable category is the Devotion, which is another gun that's a beast, but I don't really just see the reason right now to carry this in your kit, because even with the buffs to energy ammo, very few people you kill are going to be running energy weapons. So if you're in a long extended fight and you're scrambling to get to the next circle, or another team is pushing you on already, this thing absolutely chews through ammo, so you're very rarely going to find replacement ammo, and I can't see a lot of people wanting to hold just 400 shots of energy ammo early game so that they can make it to the end of the game with bullets. To me, it's not viable right now. Next, we're going to talk about the weapons in the trash category. And these are the guns in Apex that I just really don't like, and I'm never happy if I get one, and they're going to be replaced as soon as possible. First up on the trash list, we have the HAVOC, the new gun to the game, and I don't know, this thing is just garbage to me, and I'm not a fan of the spin-up times on weapons, and even if you go through all the effort of finding the turbocharger, it still has the drawbacks of the energy ammo, and I don't see how this thing is as good even with a turbocharger as an R301. Like, to me, you should just carry the R301 or a Spitfire anyway, as they're just straight up better than the HAVOC. Next on our trash tier, we have the Triple Take, and I don't mind getting this gun early game, but it's kind of in this weird spot where it's not that good of a shotgun and it's not that good of a sniper rifle. You can use it for both, and you'll be able to get kills on people who don't have armor, but I don't see any viability after the first 2 minutes with this weapon. Even if you get the choke on it, you still got to charge the gun up for the sniper shots, and how long is an opponent going to stay, outside of cover so that you can wait for this thing charge to put one good shot on them? I just think this gun doesn't really serve a true purpose or have an identity and needs a complete rework to be viable. Next, we got one of my least favorite guns in the game in the Flatline assault rifle. And I just don't like this gun because it doesn't fire that fast. It doesn't do that good damage. So, like, it's just kind of like an easy to fire but hard to finish someone off with weapon. It's only good to me for the first few minutes of the game, and there's always going to be something that does everything better. Every time I use it, I'm surprised how little damage this thing is doing just because the bullets come out so slow. To me, this is the weakest assault rifle, and drop this the second you find one of the better guns. Next, we got the alternator, which this thing is only good if you land on it and you're fighting people in level 1 armor or no armor. It is relatively accurate. It does okay damage close range, and it fires at a decent rate. But to really make this thing work, you would need extended mags for it, and it's just not worth kitting up. By the time you would get this thing viable, you would definitely have a better weapon anyway. So take this in the first minute of the match and then instantly replace it when you can. Next up, we got a very similar weapon in the RE45 pistol, which is full auto, and this thing works okay against unarmored or level 1 armored opponents. But if you have this gun after 2 minutes in the match, you're probably in trouble. We have 2 guns left on our trash tier, so I'm going to go with the Reddit special, the Mozambique. And I actually don't feel this is the worst gun in the game. It's not actually as bad as people kind of say it is. It actually does a little bit of damage if you're able to hit all the bullets in the spread with it. But, you know, there are memes about it for a reason. It's kind of trash. It can be used to kind of finish someone off who's been shot with another gun a little bit. But there's no real purpose in this gun right now. And it's really punishing when you miss a shot when it only has 3 bullets in it and does minimal damage also. But this is not the worst gun in the game. Alright, the worst gun in the game on the trash tier is the P2020 pistol. This thing sucks. It does virtually no damage per bullet. The spread when you hip fire it becomes kind of large. Like, you're better off just getting in a punch fight if this is what you land on, because you're going to do more damage. I've been shocked, actually. It's kind of embarrassing. I've been punched out when I've had this thing as I was just bombing hits on someone, and it just boom, 7 damage, 7 damage, 7 damage. Not worth picking up. Most trash gun in the game. Take the Mozambique over it. That brings us to the end of our tier list, and I hope when you're playing you think in champ tiers of kit, replace, and trash, and that running some of these weapons will help you get some dubs in the first season of Apex Legends. If you found the video helpful, please subscribe to the channel and check out some of my other content and gameplay. I also play live on Twitch, so be sure to check that out too. Champ out!